This is my favorite book ever. I know I literally just said that about Jurassic Park, but I'm also saying about this one because they are both just so good. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Faith and thank you so much for watching. It is officially my birthday week. So today I'm going to give you guys 23 book or series recommendations in honor of my 23rd birthday. Most of these books, not all of them, are underrated, so hopefully you can get some new recommendations out of this and they're not just the same books you see recommended to you all the time. And every single book that I'm going to recommend to you guys today was rated 4 stars or above by me. Also, I mainly read romance, so the majority of these are romance recommendations, with the exception of 4 sci-fi recommendations, and I'm just going to do the sci-fi recommendations first and then everything after that will be romance. 23 is kind of a lot. Even if I gave 1 minute to each book or series, that would be 23 minutes. I am going to give a very brief summary or rundown of each book or series, but again, because there are 23 to get through, this will probably be a fairly fast-paced video. Just thought I'd put that out there as a heads up. Also, I'm sorry for lighting changes. It is cloudy outside today, so the sun keeps coming and going, and unfortunately, I cannot control the weather. And because there's so much to cover, let's get into it. Again, these first 4 are sci-fi. First up, we have Here and Now and Then by Mike Chen. This book follows Ken, whose job is a time-traveling agent. One day, a mission goes wrong and he gets stuck in San Francisco in 1990. Eventually, a rescue team comes for him, but at that point, he has been in the past for 20 years. He has a life here. He has a wife. He has a kid. When the people come for him, they say that they have to kill his daughter because she was never supposed to exist, because he was never supposed to exist in that timeline. And the story follows Ken as he is essentially trying to save his daughter's life. If you like time travel or very family-focused books, I highly recommend this one. And then we have Dark Days Ahead by Natalie Dougherty. And this was actually the first ever book that an author directly sent to me, which was very cool. This book follows a group of girls who work for the network. And the network is considered the good guys. And they are trying to take down the apparatus, aka the bad guys, before they can destroy the world. Very much a story of good versus evil. They also have magic powers. And with magic powers comes a magic system, which is very easy to get wrong or not explain correctly. However, the magic system in this book is incredibly well thought out. Honestly, probably one of the most well thought out magic systems I have ever read about. This book does end on a cliffhanger and the second book is not out yet, but hopefully it comes out soon because I need to know what happens next. And this next book is very popular, but I have to include it. Jurassic Park. I love this book so much. I have loved Jurassic Park, the movie, for my entire life. And it actually took me forever to realize that it was also a book, and I actually just read it last May. This is literally my favorite book of all time. I know that I say that about like 10 different books, but trust me guys, this one is just elite. Jurassic Park is so popular, I feel like I don't really need to explain what this is about. But I will say, the movie is definitely still horror. However, it's a lot more family friendly compared to the book. And speaking of the movie, I do have an entire comparison video of the book versus the movie, which you guys should go check out. There's actually quite a few significant differences from the movie, especially who dies and how they die. The deaths are way more horrific in the book, but the overall themes are the same. You know, it's the consequences of playing God and the negative impacts of the commercialization of science. This is definitely a book that I think everybody should read at least once in their life. And for my last sci-fi rec, this is another one that's not underrated based on the insane amount of Goodreads reviews that it has. However, I literally never see anybody talking about it, and somebody has to. So my last sci-fi recommendation is the Chaos Walking series by Patrick Ness. This series is literally one of my favorite series of all time. It is absolutely incredible. And if you're thinking right now, Faith, wait, there was a movie called Chaos Walking and it was really bad. Yes, that is the adaptation of these books. However, that is the worst book to screen adaptation I have ever seen in my entire life. It was so bad. It was so different from the books. Seriously, just take that movie, pop it right out of your head, and read these books. The series follows a boy named Todd who lives on New World, and there was a sickness that came through and killed all of the women and allowed all the men to hear each other's thoughts. Todd is about to become a man, but before he does, something happens, and I'm so sorry, I can't say what that something is because it is a massive spoiler, and Todd has to run away. But how do you run away when the people chasing you can hear every thought that you have? The series is incredible, and I just cannot recommend it enough. Also, Bestie Ellie isn't a huge sci-fi girly, but she loved this series, so that just means you guys need to read it. Sorry, not sorry, the rest of these books are romance recommendations. Heavy on the not sorry, I love romance. Romance hate is not tolerated here. First up for romance, we have the DC Star series by Chelsea Curto. I love this series so so much, guys. This is a hockey romance series, and it follows a professional hockey team, of course, called DC Stars. Face Off is the first book in the series, and it follows the team's right winger, Maverick Miller, and the team's left winger, Emmy Hartwell. And this one is a dislike to lovers, friends with benefits romance. And Emmy Hartwell is the first woman to play a regular season game in the NHL. Unfortunately, not in real life, just in this book. This is my favorite book ever. I know I literally just said that about Jurassic Park, but I'm also saying about this one because they are both just so good. Maverick Miller is also tied for my #1 book boyfriend. I seriously cannot recommend this series enough, guys. And the second book is Power Play, and it follows the team's goalie, Liam Sullivan, and one of their sports reporters, Piper Mitchell. And this one is a grumpy sunshine marriage of convenience romance. And the third book is Slapshot, and it follows one of the team's defensive men, Hudson Hayes, and a chef, Madeline Galloway. And this is a single mom friends to lovers romance. And the fourth book is Hat Trick, and it follows another one of the team's defensive men, Riley Mitchell, and the team's athletic trainer, Lexi Armstrong. And this one is a sunshine, former sunshine, friends with benefits romance, and guys, bring your tissues for this one. And the fifth book is Sin Bin, which follows the team's coach, Brody Saunders, and one of the players' sisters, Hannah Everett. And this one is a forbidden single dad age gap romance. And book 6, Crosscheck, comes out in June, and the last book, Weekside, will come out this fall. And then we have another romance series, and that is the Wildflower series by Amelie Reese. This is another one of my favorite romance series of all time. I have an entire video dedicated to this series where I explain each book in a lot more detail. So for this video, I'm kind of just going to run over the tropes for each book. The first book is Alive at Night, and it follows Julian and Juniper. It is a fake dating, best friend's brother, childhood enemies romance. The second book is Awake at Dawn, and it follows Noah and Gemma. This one is a brother's best friend sports romance with accidental pregnancy, but the baby is not his. The third book is Attached at Heart, and it follows Blake and Delaney. This is a best friends to lovers marriage of convenience romance, and they're also both cardiologists. And the fourth book is Already at Risk, which follows Cameron and Natalie. She is a single mom trauma surgeon going through a divorce, and he is her custody lawyer. And book 5 is Again at Home, and it comes out July 22nd. Next up, we have Please Don't Go by E. Salvador. This book is beautiful, touching, deep, emotional, everything. I knew within 40 pages that Dana Garcia would be a top 10 book boyfriend, and I was right. This book is very heavy. It starts with Josephine getting ready to kill herself by jumping off of a bridge. Thankfully, Daniel is there and he is able to save her. Daniel is also going through a lot, but he doesn't outwardly show it. Daniel cannot stop thinking about her, and through his persistence, they eventually become friends and then eventually become more than that. He is a baseball player and she is a former swimmer. Again, this book is very good, but also very heavy, so mind the trigger warnings. And then we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This book follows Stella, who has Asperger's, and she cannot stand physical intimacy, or really just any kind of intimacy. So her solution is to hire Michael Fan, who is an escort, to be her practice boyfriend. So throughout this book, Michael is trying to teach Stella to be comfortable with all forms of intimacy. I love this book so much, and I do not see enough people talking about it. And then we have Nightshade by Autumn Woods, and guys, this book was incredible. I read it almost 4 months ago, and I think about it every single day. Ophelia just started attending Sarosong University, and she does not belong there. Every student at the school comes from old money. Ophelia is only able to attend because her dad used to work for the school as, I believe, a janitor, if I remember correctly. Sadly, her parents had an accidental death near the school, so Ophelia enrolled in hopes to find answers to what really happened. While she's there, she meets Alex Corbeau Green, the son of her #1 suspect. This book is absolutely insane. The yearning, the banter. Guys, this book, no joke, has the best banter I've ever read about in my entire life. Also, this is book 1 in a duet, and they do not get their happily ever after in this book. That will come in the next book. And that would be Daybreak, and it comes out in July, and I cannot wait. And then we have Heart Check by Emily Charlotte. This is actually a high school sports romance, and because they're in high school, there is absolutely no spice. There's not even suggested spice, as it should be. This book follows Luke and Harper, who cannot stand each other. Luke is on the hockey team and Harper hates the hockey team. The hockey coach just got fired, and the entire school thinks that Harper is the reason he got fired because everybody knows how much she hates the team. So right now, Luke and Harper hate each other more than ever, but unfortunately for them, they work together, so they have to figure out a way to put their differences aside so it doesn't get in the way of their job. Very cute, highly recommend. And then we have In Storm and Weather by Chelsea Critto, and this book actually comes out on July 14th. However, I read the arc and it was incredible, so obviously I have to include it. This book follows Quincy, a meteorologist with a very popular online weather show, and her best friend's brother Sebastian is a TV weatherman and also her longtime rival. Their professional lives and hurricane season forces them to spend some time together, and I'm sure you can guess how that is going to work out with their relationship. Because the book's not out yet, I'm not really going to say much more. However, I will say Quincy and Sebastian are Maverick Miller and Emmy Hartwell coded, and I love that. And then we have the Off-Court series by Vi Denton. Currently, these are the only 2 books out. However, I do believe there are going to be 4. And these are tennis romances. The first book is Drop Shot, and it follows Delilah and Mateo. Delilah is in desperate need for a new doubles partner, and when Mateo offers, she is definitely hesitant to accept. Unfortunately, circumstances pull her hand. Look at the way he looks at her. He is obsessed with her. Unfortunately, she cannot afford distractions. The second book is Cross Court, which follows Nicola and Alexander. Nicola is kind of struggling this season, and she also needs a new performance coach. And again, look at the way he looks at her. He is obsessed with her. So of course he steps in to be her performance coach. I loved Drop Shot so much. I really didn't think this book could be any better than it, but it was. I loved this book so much. And then we have The Probability of Us by Elizabeth Jade Taylor. This book follows Jelani, whose life is basically spiraling out of control. She's going through a breakup, she moved back in with her emotionally unavailable mother, and she has just accepted the role as a graduate teaching assistant. And then we have Roman, a graduate student, who also feels like his life is spiraling out of control. He is really smart, but he is really struggling at school because he is trying to take care of his sick daughter. And despite some reluctance on Jelani's end, life forces them together. This book was amazing. The writing, 10 out of 10. The plot, 10 out of 10. The characters, 10 out of 10. I cannot wait for the next book in the series. And then we have Breaking Point by Mads Rafferty. This book follows hockey player Grayson Crawford, who needs to clean up his image, and what better way to do that than a fake PR relationship? What better person to be in a fake relationship with other than Bella Strafford? Bella just recently became his personal assistant in order to help pay her mother's medical bills, and she really does not want to be in this fake relationship with him. Unfortunately, her mother's health takes a turn for the worse, and because of how much money he offers to be in this fake relationship, she takes him up on the offer. I really enjoyed this book, and if you read it, definitely bring your tissues. And then we have In the Dark by Chelsea Curto. This is a dark romance, and this is the first dark romance I ever read, and I was very surprised that I really liked this book. Maxine goes to a fright night, and one of the scare actors there is Hunter. Hunter immediately becomes obsessed with her, and he ends up stalking her, and he is also a serial killer. I am definitely not a dark romance reader. This is like the only dark romance book that I've ever read, other than the Twisted series and the Kings of Sin series by Anna Huang, but this is darker than those. I say that I'm shocked by how much I love this book, but at the same time, it's Chelsea Curto. She could write literally anything, and I would love it. So really, I'm not shocked. I loved it. You all should read it and love it too. And then we have False Play by Yin Kiros. And in case you can't tell, this is a hockey romance. And no, I will not be apologizing for the amount of sports romances in this video. Henry is like the bad boy of the league, and after an on-ice fight gets a little too out of hand, his career is on the line. Kennedy is a PR specialist on the team, and her main focus right now is to fix Henry's image. After a photo of the two gets taken out of context, the public actually ends up believing that they are dating. After some thinking, they agree that it might benefit both of them if they go along with it. And did I mention that Henry has been obsessed with her since the moment he laid eyes on her? And she cannot stand him. The next book in the series comes out later this year, and I cannot wait for it. Next, we have Fragile Hopes by Lucina Coney. Ivy has just returned to Harmony Hills to help raise her 16-year-old brother. She's currently working 2 jobs in hopes that she can eventually afford to send her brother to pilot school to chase his dream. Ford is their next-door neighbor and also a firefighter. After a messy divorce, he really has no interest in a relationship ever again until he meets Ivy. Ivy is always the one taking care of others, and now Ford wants to take care of her. This book was literally perfect, guys. It was the first firefighter romance that I ever read, and I absolutely loved it. I'm so excited for the rest of the series. Next, we have the Alpine Glow series by Ella McGivern. In case it's not obvious by their titles, Ski You Later and Ski You Tomorrow, these are ski romances. Ski You Later follows Rhodes, who is going to be attending a family wedding, and she just learned that her cousin is going to be there with her ex-boyfriend. Of course, she doesn't want to show up to that alone, and who steps in? None other than her grumpy ski captain, Roman. I loved this book so much. And then we have Ski You Tomorrow, which follows Aurora, who just learned that she doesn't have enough money to fund her upcoming ski season. But Xander, who has been in love with her forever, obviously is not gonna let her dreams crumble, and he helps her fund her season. These books are so cute, and they also have no spice. And then we have Sunny Disposition by Deanna Gray. Naomi just moved into a house with 4 hockey players, and she seems to get along with all of them except for Finn. Finn recently lost his memory, but for some reason Naomi seems very familiar even though they never met. Unbeknownst to both of them, they actually do have a history because Finn used to be an anonymous moderator for Naomi's streams. This is another hockey romance, and it is very cute. Next, we have Close to You by Nisa Renzo. Milo's dad took away her ability to speak. After going to her new foster home, she just expects another place that she doesn't belong until she meets her new foster brother, Ashby, who for once makes her feel seen. They get closer as the years go on, and Ashby definitely considers himself a protector to Milo. Milo is constantly being bullied at school, and Ashby has a ton of pressure on him from the demands of school and swimming, but no matter what happens, they know that they will be there for each other. Their relationship reminds me of Johnny and Shannon from Boys of Tommen, which in case you don't know is a very high compliment, and I really like this book, but it has very heavy topics, so mind the trigger warnings. And this next series is very popular, but I love it so much that I have to include it. The Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. Yes, I know the mistake is missing. My mom has it right now. This was the first hockey romance series that I ever read, and it is definitely what made me fall in love with hockey romances. Because of how popular this is, I don't really think I need to explain what each book is about. Garrett Graham is the man tied with Maverick Miller as my #1 book boyfriend. Hannah and Garrett are one of my favorite book couples ever. I also just had to include it because this is one of my favorite romance series of all time, and The Deal is one of my favorite romance books of all time, and the TV show adaptation for the series comes out on my birthday. I'm gonna pretend that they knew how much I love the series and they did that intentionally. I love this series. You all need to read it if you haven't, and I cannot wait for the TV show. And next we have an older, semi-popular book talk book, From Luck of With Love by Mariana Zapata. I love this book so much, and even when it was popular, I didn't see a ton of content for it. Jasmine and Ivan are both figure skaters, and Jasmine cannot stand him. Like, she would run over him with a car and then back up over him and then run him back over time and time and time again. Unfortunately for her, her window to compete as a figure skater is starting to close. But even though Jasmine hates him, when she gets the opportunity to be his pair skating partner, she can't really refuse. This book is so good, and I read it a few years ago, but I really want to reread it. 10 out of 10 recommend. And finally, we have come to the 23rd recommendation. Binding 13 and Keeping 13. I don't care that it's popular. I don't care that you've probably been recommended these books 1,000 times. I'm going to recommend them again. And I recommend the entire Boys of Tommen series. However, Johnny and Shannon are just the elite couple. One of my favorite couples of all time. They are so stinking cute. Also, 2 of my favorite books of all time. I seriously love these books. Like some of the other books in this video, these are really popular, so I don't really think I need to sit here and explain what they're about. And if you're a Boys of Tommen fan, I did a Boys of Tommen deep dive before Releasing 10 came out, and you guys should go check that out. And like I said, I know you've probably been recommended these books 1,000 times, but again, 2 of my favorite romance books, and guys, it's my birthday week. I'm gonna include them. I just adore them so much. And those are 23 book and series recommendations. Guys, I think this is one of the longest videos I've ever filmed. Like, I just filmed for 2 hours and I am exhausted. So please take at least one recommendation from this video to make it worth it. And also like this video and subscribe to my channel. Off Campus comes out on Wednesday and I am so excited. So next week we will be adding an episode in my series where I compare books to their film or TV show adaptation. And of course, we will be doing The Deal. But with that, that is all that I have for you guys today. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow my Instagram and my TikTok, which are in the description below, for more bookish content. Happy off-campus week to those who celebrate. Love you guys. Bye.